right now for round 9 here from Detroit. Hello and welcome to coverage of Grand Prix Detroit. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Kenji Egashira, and we are live in round number 9. And boy, do we have a sick matchup here.
Wow,
Kenji,
wow.
tell us who we're playing against.
Looks like we have Michael Siggy Sigrist on the left, coming off of just an insane heater in all sorts of tournaments.
And in life.
And in life with the Twins.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing against this Will.I.am Jensen. Have you heard of this guy before?
No, I've never heard of him.
William Jensen? I think he's better known as Huey to most of us.
Huey, yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Now, what about the rest of the teams? We've got Jesse Hampton and Paulo Vitor Damarosa flanking Michael Sigrist here. And on the other side of the table, none other than Owen Turtenwald and Reed Duke. So this is a true clash of the Titans. These two teams are absolutely stacked. A lot of Pro Tour top 8s represented here. Hampton's got 2, Siggy has 2, Paulo has 9.
I mean, who's counting though, right?
How about 13 between them?
Aye.
Now, the other side of the table is going to have a few less than that. But they are every bit as experienced, every bit as willing to win this thing. And who's going to make the first play of the game? On turn 4, it is Farika's Disciple. So an unusually slow start.
For both players.
Yeah.
Wow, this format usually has at least a 2-drop or a 3-drop of some sort.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of 2-drop into 3-drop happening here, too.
Yeah. Now, we saw Michael Sigrist's deck last match, and he had 3 Reeve Souls. It's very possible he's just holding on to a bunch of cheap removal.
I think you're right. I think he's maybe even got 2 of them in his hand right now.
Also, I want Reed Duke to lose because he beat me in a win and in for top 8
that
in
was
Montreal
tough.
last time.
So you're out for blood?
Yeah.
All right, well,
that's all.
Here's Huey Jensen playing one of the best uncommons in the set. A lot of people think it is the best uncommon in the set.
JBL does.
I think it is too.
Okay.
And it's Whirler Rogue.
Don't necessarily want to aim any Reeve Souls at the tokens themselves, but I could definitely see, Sigrist aiming one at the Whirler Rogue itself.
Yeah, and then getting an attack in and presenting a really nice little threat here.
For sure. Alrighty, he does in fact. Now, do you block you with a token?
Hell no.
Yeah, you just get in.
Yeah, you know why I don't, though? Because I'm Huey Jensen, and I have Harbinger of the Tides in my hand.
Sure,
And I'd rather play that and just get that Farika's Disciple right back in. Because, I mean, look, if he can deal with the Disciple, then Huey's actually point ahead, right?
Yeah.
It was a 1-for-1 with the Rogue, but he's got at least a card worth of value with the 2 Thopters here.
Yeah, I love these blue-green decks. Just so many value plays, tempo plays. We've seen Luis, with the blue-green deck just completely demolishing opponents.
Totally.
How many Rock Smaulers have we seen this weekend?
A ton of them.
Yeah, that card is amazing.
It's very good. All right, so Thopter's in. A little bit awkward for Huey here, though. He's going to go ahead and just main phase Harbinger of the Tide so he can play a 3-drop, but that's not the awkward part. That's actually just awesome. But the awkward part is in his hand, he does have Wild Instincts, and both of Siggy's creatures have Death Touch,
Yes.
so, kind of can't get around that. But still, a great turn there for Jensen, who uses up all 5 mana, and in a really impressive way. I mean, bouncing a 4-drop that had already picked up the counter, and adding a 2/2 to his board, and adding Valerian Wardens. Not bad at all.
No, I think Siggy's just got to replay his Disciple here and, keep taking the beats in the air from the Thopters, which, man, I mean.
It'll add up.
Yeah, the Whirler Rogue was dealt with, but those 2 Thopters, wham, wham, wham. Let's see what he's pondering over, though.
Could have other options. Oh.
Looks like Paulo's weighing in.
Indeed. Would you take advice from Paulo?
I mean, maybe once. And then it'd be like,
test the waters.
Come on, Paulo. I got this, man. All right, I lied. I'd probably take it every time.
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky enough to be in the booth with Paulo last weekend for GP San Diego, and man, he's so good at explaining all of that kind of stuff. Must be awesome to have him on the, on your limited team here. All right, so he did, in fact, just decide to play out Farika's Disciple. He's left up the green mana just in case Might of the Masses could be an issue here, but it doesn't look like it will be.
Yeah, you're completely right, though. Sigrist has just creature's so good versus the the Wild Instincts. Although Stratus Walk on the Valor and Wardens.
Oh, that's a sick play.
Ugh.
Wow, so he draws a card off the Stratus Walk, and now he's going to draw another card off the Wardens here and get in for damage. He now has a 3/5 flyer.
That is huge in this format.
Build
by the
your
way.
own Archangel of Tithes. He's got one.
The biggest flyers in this format generally have like 4 power, and those are very good cards. Being a 3/5
Oh
is
my
great.
God.
The tempo.
William Huey Jensen, I bow to you, sir. This is just like one of the sweetest 2-turn sequences I've seen in a while. You see this?
The sick thing is he's been able to play multiple creatures while setting back Sigrist.
Yes.
It's just like, ugh.
That last turn, he drew his card for the turn, drew a card off Stratus Walk, drew a card off of Wardens, and played Separatist Void Mage, and attacked for 3 damage. Not a bad place to put your 6 mana.
This is exactly what the blue-green decks in the top tables have been doing all day. All day.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
I'm just getting shivers over here.
The worst part is, even if Sigrist had a Languish in his deck, which I don't think he does, it would still leave the Wardens alive. We can take a look at the deck lists here too, but I think he's holding on to an Unholy Hunger. He might just pop that off right now to play around any
just
counter
to get the Wardens
shenanigans.
out of here.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, damage has been done. I mean, obviously it's good for him to, you know, stem the bleeding here, but man, how is he going to get ahead if he keeps falling behind by a card every time?
Well, his deck is very grindy. I think he just wants to get to the late game and see what he can do.
Okay.
I mean, if Jensen has another bounce spell here, it might just all be over. And wow, you know, Huey's still holding on to a grip of cards. He drew so many cards.
Yeah,
in
and
that
you know
last turn
what?
just replaced
He
themselves.
does have another Separatist Void
Wow.
Mage, too. So Graveblade Marauder is going to go away and clear the way for 4 more damage on the ground if that's what Huey decides he wants to do.
So he's going to bounce the Graveblade, get in for 4 additional damage,
yeah.
put Sigrist to 9, and just have 5 creatures to 0?
To 0 in blue-green.
There
Oh,
it
my
is.
God. I might just walk off after this game. I've seen everything I've wanted to see in Magic. It's time to move on.
I have some bad news for you, Marshall.
What's up?
Reed Duke took the first game versus Paulo.
Why is that bad news for me?
Well, for us.
Us.
Me.
Yeah.
For me. I'm sorry. All right. I tried
I'm
to lure you
completely
in.
unbiased.
I tried. All right. You're right.
Except for
No.
that I just love what Huey's doing
Reed's
here.
a good guy. Reed's a good guy.
Now, what about Languish now?
Yeah, it would be great.
But you don't think Siggy has one, huh?
Well, I mean, he'd snap it off here if he did. He does have a Priest of the Bloodright, and I believe that's in his hand.
God, does that get it done here?
Oh, he's going to lead with a Visionary, though, it looks
Oh,
like.
this isn't good. Oh, no, he's got other
Oh,
plans.
wait.
Is it just the Marauder again? You would lead with the Visionary if
Yes.
you were going to play the Marauder, so that doesn't make sense.
Unless he knows he doesn't have any other better 3-drop than the Graveblade already.
Sure, yeah, that's true. But I guess,
I mean,
why not, right? Like, maybe you forgot.
it's a free roll, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got the Marauder.
All right, well.
He knows his deck. Peels a land, plays it, ships a turn back. And he is trying to stabilize, but not doing a very good job. Jesse and Thief off the top, too, is nice. Wait, what are you doing now, Huey? Wild Instincts to kill the elf. But wait, there's more. Claustrophobia that, and swing 2,
That's,
4,
10.
6, 7. This game.
As they pick up the cards.
It was 10.
Sigrist with a little head shake. Yeah, you got me there.
And Huey says, I got that one. He did not emphasize it properly.
Well,
Man, insane. Let's head down to our bottom match here. This is Paulo Vitor Damarosa versus Reed Duke. You mentioned it a second ago, Kenji. Reed finds himself up a game.
yes.
Just like he did versus you.
Oh, I love it.
In the
it.
win
No,
and for the
I want
champion.
Reed to win. Reed's a good guy.
No, Reed's great.
Yeah.
We kid. It does look like he's a little bit behind here, though. Stalwart Avon pecking away in the air. He's only got the Eyeblight Assassin on the ground, though he has done some work here. You can see a Nantuko Husk and a Fiery Impulse in the graveyard for Duke. So he's definitely done some work here.
Yeah, and I've often found, though, that the red-black deck is just better than the green-white one when they get paired up.
One of them has the option to remove the other's creatures pretty readily.
Yes.
The other less so.
Yeah, exactly. And
Even if the green-white creatures are a bit better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Reed with a Blazing Hellhound, if he has that active treason that we've all been talking about for the combo.
Oh no, is he going to do it?
Things get scary.
He could even have, he could even have Victor.
Oh, enthralling. He need an extra land, but yeah.
Yeah, he's got
sure.
a land drop for the turn.
you got
So,
me.
all right, he doesn't have it here. He's got 5 drop, and it's going to be Unholy Hunger, which is going to clear away the Rock Maulers and clear the way for 6 damage to hit Paulo Vitor. And well, Paulo's up against it here. He's behind in this game. He's down a game in the match. He does nothing for the turn except for pass the turn back.
So I had a chance to walk around and look at Reed's deck, and he has a ton of burn. He has Lightning Javelin. He has Exquisite Firecraft. The fiery impulse we see in the graveyard. His deck is very powerful.
Yeah, Unholy Hunger's in the yard already too, so tons of removal. That means that he could get in range here, right, and just burn him out at some
easily,
point.
easily.
Reed takes a quick check of the graveyard, Paulo, because he's got Necromantic summons. So I'd like a Rock Maulers, thank you. And guess what? Spell Mastery in effect. So who needs Renown? It comes in as a 6/6.
And it still can get bigger is the crazy thing.
You'd also notice that Reed did not attack there with the Blazing Hellhound. He didn't want to play into Celestial Flare. He didn't want to play into Combat Trick when he didn't have an answer for it.
Well, he just also knew what his game plan was that turn. He wanted to, use the Necromantic Summons, pass, and just have all the options available next turn, which he is in fact doing now. Pre-combat Gear Crafter is going to give him some extra pings if he really desires.
He can throw around 2 damage wherever he wants. So Paulo is going to block, and he's also got the Combat Trick, in this case, Shrouding Mist. No great options for Reed here. You can't sacrifice the Blazing Hellhound to itself, so that's not going to happen. The Eyeblight Assassin's getting in for 2 on its own, so sacrificing it doesn't make any sense here. So I think Reed's just going to say, all right, well, that was going to happen.
Yeah, take your 8, go to 4.
Yeah, get a Renown trigger.
Yeah.
How about an 8/8 trample? Whoop.
And furthermore, like I said, Reed has a ton of burn in his deck. So actually, I'm a little bit surprised he didn't throw the Gear Crafter, or maybe even the Thopter. I guess maybe he doesn't have the Lightning Javelin in his hand. He would have almost certainly done so if that were the case. But wow, Reed takes the match.
And Reed takes the match. Wow. All right. So 1 to the Peach Garden Oath here. They're up 1-0. On the end of the table here, I do see some shuffling happening between these two. We're going to get the graphic updated. You can see the guy in the stripes. That's Rich Castle. He works for us, and he just walked by to say, hey, how's this match going for you guys? And he'll relay that back, and it looks like Jesse Hampton took game 1. Jesse and Owen are friends. They know each other for quite a while now. That's why you see a little smirk on Jesse's face and a little frown on Owen's.
Yeah, it's all in good fun, though.
It is.
I mean, obviously, they'd like to go undefeated for the day, but 8-1 is still very, very respectable.
Yeah, both of these teams are going to come away with a very solid record, but make no mistake, right? 9-0 is definitely better. You're probably going to need X2 to make the top 4 here. That's a tall order. You don't have a lot to give. If you lose your last match of the day, it means tomorrow you're coming in with a lot of pressure on you to open a good pool, to play perfectly, not mess up. If you can come in undefeated, you actually have some leeway. Remember, we're only playing 5 rounds tomorrow, not 6 like normal. So, coming in with a team like this, needing to go 3-2, that's in range of even a mediocre pool.
Oh, yeah.
But needing to go 4-1, you don't have a lot of room to give. Obviously, they could do it. But
I think a lot of people forget, too, that you're playing with different decks. You don't get the same pool, So if these pools are some of the best that they can get, they might get a very bad pool tomorrow. Have you ever seen that start? Caustic Caterpillar into Stratuswalk.
Nope. I've played a lot of this format, and I've never seen that one. Huey clearly just wanting to cycle the Stratuswalk, as we say. He just wanted to draw a card off of it. He wasn't going to use it for anything crazy here. Yeah. And, in fact, the Hitchclaw Recluse has put a halt to any attacks by the Caterpillar either way.
Yeah, that card just blanks so many cards.
Yeah, it's actually really a subtly interesting play because the Stratuswalk is fine on the Caterpillar. It makes it into a flyer, which generally would get in for more damage than it would normally, and it's not like the Caterpillar blocks anything anyway.
Yeah, and they don't want to use a removal spell on it.
Yeah, so if you're going to sacrifice it, you might as well just sack it. But, even in this scenario, the Hitchclaw Recluse would have stopped it from attacking, and wouldn't be able to be blocked by it. So it actually makes a lot of sense to put that on there if you need to draw a card.
I think something funny, and I don't think Huey saw it last game. Sigrist has two very, very powerful things that the Caterpillar can kill. He has the Shadows of the Past and the Majoring Responder.
The Responder?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Now, you're saying he has those in his deck or in his hand?
In his deck.
Okay.
I don't think he has them in his hand currently, but
Okay.
that's just something funny to think about that, might just blank him out.
That is funny, yeah. The Caterpillar versus the Responder, Giant robot.
All right, looks like Caterpillar's getting in 1 damage unblockable via Whirler Rogue.
Yeah, so Whirler Rogue is going to tap both Thopters to give the Caterpillar unblockable and have it attack. Jensen's not concerned about an attack coming in the other direction.
Oh, Marshall.
No. Oh, no. Is that an Eye Blight Massacre? Oh, my goodness.
It feels good.
Wow, they don't call that a massacre for nothing. Oh, my God. Hitchclaw Recluse is like, I'm fine. No worries.
The flavor fail there is that I think the Recluse was the eye blightiest of the of the
yeah,
cards.
you are right. That is.
Huey with a good follow-up, Rock Smaller. Again, we've talked about it many times. That card just showing up everywhere. One of the best green commons, if not the best. I don't know. Do you rank
I think Wild Instincts is better than it, but I think Rocks is great. Yeah, and Dead, but this is why it's great, right? You got to use a 5-mana removal spell on it when you can.
I'd say that Sigrist was pretty cruel to that Rocks, Marshall.
Agree. Boo. All right. So Rhino down. Follow-up is Jessian Thief and a Timberpack Wolf. So not quite as impressive.
No.
Both of these can be blocked by the Recluse.
Yeah, at this point of the game, it's just so much worse than when you can curve out,
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, like if it was early in the game and he had gone Timberpack Wolf into Jessian Thief, he'd be very pleased right now. He would have lost the Wolf to the Massacre, but still have the Thief, which is huge.
Sure. Fetid Imp for Sigrist, who actually drew a Woodland Bellower that turn, but just doesn't have the double green.
Oh, awkward.
Yeah.
Foundry of the Console's taking its toll a little here. Also just an awkward turn for him in that he just only got to use 2 mana so far.
Yeah.
He could have used his entire turn on Foundry of the Consoles, but he'd much rather get that Imp down because it's going to hold back the Thief. Huey could, of course, attack with both. The Thief would get blocked, and he would take 2 damage with Sigrist, but now he's just stonewalling Huey.
Well, I think Huey has Separatist Void Mage in his hand, one of the 2 that we saw in the previous game. Although Siggy has the Majoring Responder as well, so...
He does have it in his hand?
He does, yeah. I caught a glimpse of it.
Now that the Caterpillar's gone. So that's another reason, and I wonder if Huey's going to think about that, right?
Yeah.
He looks at it like, okay, you traded 2 damage, but used your mana very efficiently. So you either have a spell in your hand you want to play now, or maybe you're saving up your mana for a Majoring Responder. Uh-oh, you got 2 things? Disperse. This is very aggressive from Huey Jensen. He knows he's going to get that card back anyway thanks to the Jessian Thief. And he also gets in for 5 damage here.
That's no small sum. The
Yeah.
double prowess triggers.
Yeah, that actually adds up quite a bit. He's down to 13 is Sigrist now, and of course a card off the top for Jensen there. So not a bad sequence of events.
Yeah, and if Siggy just jams
Is
the
it time?
Majoring here,
Is it time?
it's just going to get Void Maged.
It's not time.
Oh, it's the Bellower, though. Yes.
He drew the forest for the Bellower.
Yep. I think he has double Recluse in his deck.
That's what he gets with them?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're totally right. Other one is in hand.
So you get 7 power, 9 toughness worth of creatures for 6 mana.
And some reach in there, too.
And some reach. I definitely call that value.
Oh, yes.
And Bellower is not something that you want to necessarily bounce.
No, it's not. That's a good point.
It's a large creature that's sort of immune to bounce effects unless your opponent's going in for
That's a
kill, I
sweet play
suppose.
by Siggy, by the way.
Mhm.
Like, when you have a chance to play a Majoring Responder, it's very tempting to just do so, right? The card takes over the game pretty quickly. If you get to attack with it once, it's like kind of over.
Yeah,
But this plays better. I do think this plays better.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah, like making sure that Huey can't run this tempo engine on you where he's like bouncing your, like, imagine if he goes Majoring Responder and Huey's like, cool, Separatist Void Mage.
Get in for 3, draw a card.
Get in for 3, draw a card, go. He's just like, no, now it can get countered on the way back down. It can get tempoed again. You can fall way behind. But if you play the Bellower, like you said, it's a terrible target for bounce spells because he's just going to generate more value most likely. And you get the Recluse alongside, which is just an additional blocker.
Yeah. I think Sigrist is in a very, very good position now, especially if nothing happens to this Mage Ring. Besides the bounce. Besides the bounce.
Yeah, it will get bounced, but that's not a long-term solution.
Yeah, and that's effectively going to tap out Huey, who doesn't have any good attacks. That was anchored to the Ether, by the way.
Oh, it was? So he can keep it out of the way for a while, but again, Ziggy playing that Woodland Bellower first means that the shields, they are up.
This is a very important one for Sigrist to win, too. If he loses, that's the match for the teams.
Reed Duke already up.
Very quickly over Paulo. Looks like Jesse and Owen are still on game 2. Jesse being up a game.
Yeah, I really like how Sigrist has played this game.
I mean, you have to bounce the Mage Ring in some capacity here.
Yeah, now you're kind of compelled to do so, but since Sigrist took this line over the other, he's just under no threat.
Oh, yeah.
And it's probably going to be a while, but he does have Foundry of the Consoles to do too. So he can actually bounce it or get rid of it 3 times in a row. he drew his Harbinger of the Tides.
Did he?
Yeah.
The Mage Ring doesn't come into play tapped.
No, I know.
And it'll still do 7 damage.
I know. I'm just saying it will be. He will end up spending 21 mana on it.
Actually.
Or can he respond?
Yeah, he can respond with untapping. Yeah. So he's going to have to wait. Or Huey's going to have to wait until
I mean, he's
Sigrist.
just going to anchor it here, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. But
so what's going to happen is the responder attacks. Sigrist eventually says, okay, pay 7. And then he flashes in.
Exactly.
He's crazy.
But like we've mentioned before, Sigrist is under no pressure.
Nah, he's shields, they are up, man. He is hiding behind a Woodland Bellower and a Hitchclaw Recluse. He's looking good.
There's the anchor. He's going to get a scry. Yes, please, or no, thank you. Bottom it goes. All right. Yeah, we've just been doing this little dance for the last few turns.
Yeah, the problem is that while Huey has been able to build out his board a bit, he hasn't been able to really capitalize on it by getting any damage through.
In fact, he's gotten no damage through the last X number of turns. What, 3 or 4 now? Minimum. And the last card in his hand is that Harbinger of Tides. Again, I think Sigrist has played this excellently and definitely has the huge upper hand here.
Yeah, totally subtle stuff from Sigrist, but when you look especially how it happened to match up against Huey's draw, it looks great.
Yeah. I wonder if at some point Sigrist draws 2 spells that he can cast a turn and opts to do that instead of the Mage Ring. Because I know he has, another Recluse in his hand, it looks like. That was bounced earlier.
Yeah. He still has that one.
I just want to point out that besides the Fetid Imp, nothing else we've seen, at least this game, dies to Eyeblight Massacre. So it's a good little deck
cool
build.
Yeah, that's interesting. Unfortunately for Huey Jensen, he found a few creatures of his own to die to Eyeblight Massacre. But that was sort of how Siggy drew it up, right?
A Whirler Rogue, its tokens, and that little flying caterpillar. Huey just on the land go, and now we see the Mage Ring responder going to do some work.
Yeah, it's going to punch the Thief or the Water Courser or something.
I don't think it's just punching, Marshall. That's 7 damage.
What is it?
It's like a body slam minimum.
Body slam, yeah.
Now, Sigrist saw the Harbinger last game, so he's got to be aware of that.
I wonder if he cares. You know? Like at this point, he's so stable on board, and he's getting that to happen no matter what.
Sure.
I wonder if he's just like, yeah, whatever. Bounce it. I'll replay it again. Can do this all day.
Huey takes the 7, and the nice thing is, not only is he leaving up the untap, he's also leaving up the Foundry.
Tough one here for Huey. All right, so he drew Bone to Ash, I think.
Wow.
I think he drew Bone to Ash.
He did.
And he's actually going to be able to counter the responder on the way back down?
That was an insane draw.
What the heck? On his last bounce spell? Snap it off. Watch this. Bone to ash as quick as you can.
Hey,
You had an island off of the bone to ash, but wow. Okay, so now we've got a game again.
Kinda. I mean, the
Bellower's not attacking.
It can eventually. Like,
Yes.
again, Huey is empty-handed, and
Well, he's got one card, but
he just drew it. Sorry.
It's an island,
Yeah.
but yeah.
he has no flyers.
Oof.
So, I mean, the Foundry of the consoles is also going to start doing some work.
That's true.
Once he activates it, and he has
That's
enough
true.
mana.
He's going to keep back for now, but I think you're right. He's going to start swinging with the Bellower probably next turn. Oh, what'd you find, Huey?
Ooh.
Mana Gorger Hydra. All right. Now Sigrist doesn't get to wait around forever. You know, that Hydra's going to grow slowly but surely over the next few turns here.
Sure.
Remember, Huey's top decking. He doesn't actually have a spell in his hand. He's got a land.
All right.
And Sigrist is affected, or he just is tapped out here, so he's going to need to find something too. But, you know, that Hydra's going to be a 4/4 pretty soon. And
No. You know
you
why?
feed it. What? What's going to happen?
Sigrist is going to draw one of his 3 Reeve Souls in like whatever 20 cards. That's like 95%, Marshall. 3 out of 20.
You ran the numbers?
Yeah, it's like 95%.
All right.
I really hoped he had drawn it there. Oh, God,
He wanted it so
perfect.
bad. I could tell. I could see that look in your eye. He's just like one-time Reeve Soul. Now, does he have an Unholy Hunger there, Kenji, or is that a Necromantic Summons?
Well, I know he has a lot of Unholy Hungers in his deck, at least 2, so I'm going to assume it's that. We haven't seen the summons from Sigrist yet, have we?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Looks like he's going to crash in with the Bellower. It is indeed, an Unholy Hunger number 2.
Okay, so Mana Gorger Hydra will not be getting out of control this game.
I guess that's Hunger number 1. He has Cruel Revival in the graveyard, sorry. You just have to double block here? Or triple block, rather, I guess.
This could be one of those ones where you just jam your whole team in there. Like, he does need to get rid of this Bellower. He's on 12 life. If he takes 2 hits from it, he dies. His opponent's on 13, so cracking back in the other direction is not looking promising, especially with Siggy having the Foundry of the consoles plus, you know, presumably 3 spells in hand, maybe 4 from his perspective.
Yeah, just a grip of cards. Yeah, we are going to see the triple block.
The triple block it is.
I think I just let this happen if I'm Michael Sigrist.
So what actually happens? 2 of the creatures die in
Yeah.
this scenario? You just take your 2 for 1 and move on with your life?
I think so, because you've already gotten the Hitchclaw Recluse off the Bellower as well, and you'd rather save the Unholy Hunger for a bigger threat that Huey might have. I mean, there's a Mana Gorger Hydra on the table already, so.
That you'd like to use.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, and it looks like Sigrist felt the same. Would have been a little too greedy to go for the
Definitely.
2 for 1 there.
He might just fire it off now, it looks like, before Huey can draw anything.
Let's see, he can play around Clash of Wills here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. So if he does it here, he can play around Clash of Wills. If he waits till Huey's upkeep, which when you would normally do that, he cannot.
Yeah.
So he's going to main phase it, make the exception. He also has an extra land drop to play right now for Foundry of the Consoles too.
And again, he's just in such a great position. A few cards still left in his hand.
Yeah, but he needs a little action here. I mean, Huey did whittle him down to a 1/4 and a 1/1.
Sure, but the Foundry, you know?
Yeah, that's a card right there. So he gets to crack that, make a couple of 2/2s.
Not an
a
emblem.
Jace emblem, yeah. Yeah, Sigrist does look to be in the driver's seat here, especially as Huey's ran out of gas the last couple of turns here.
Another flyer fetid imp for Sigrist. Not a bad draw.
So Bellower dies to triple block. Unholy Hunger takes out
The Hydra.
the Hydra of the future. And Foundry of the Consoles gets sacked that same turn. That was a darn productive turn there for Sigrist.
And this is what the green-black deck wants. I was talking to Jacob last round because we were watching Sigrist, the same thing, just grind out, eventually get there with his removal spells and more powerful cards.
Yeah, how many did you say Reeve Souls you saw?
3 minimum.
Yikes.
Yeah, and I don't think we've seen a single one this game.
I think you're right.
Granted, Eyeblight Massacre, Cruel Revival, Unholy Hunger are definitely things.
We have seen removal, that's true. All right, double Hitchclaw Recluse, a Fetid Imp. But really, the only pressure is coming from the Thopters and now the Imp. 4-turn clock in the air. But you got to figure you can get that other point of damage in somewhere if you really want. So Probably 3 if nothing changes.
One might say Huey has a fear of heights and arachnophobia this game. B? C? D?
Crickets.
All right, all right. I mean, he can't block the flyers. You know, Sigurds is playing a Goldforge Sentinel now. Spiders make it so he can't
Well,
attack.
Goldforge is a 1-turn clock. Looking at our match count, Jesse Hampton defeats Owen Turtenwald. And of course, if Huey were to win this game, that would actually just end it on the spot. But it does look like Sigurds is going to be able to... maybe I spoke too soon. Goldforge Sentinel gets claustrophobia. That leaves Huey at 4 here after this attack. Hey, there's a Reef Soul, by the way. You were a few turns off.
Nice.
Oh, he's doing math because he can kill one of the creatures on the ground here and get in maybe extra damage. And at 15, he just doesn't have to worry about what Huey's going to do coming in the other direction.
Well, the important thing is it makes the 2-turn clock in the air if he gets in with one of these other ground creatures.
Yeah. Yeah, that's super important here because hitting for 3 is all fine and dandy, but I need more. All right. Separatist Void Mage is the card that he kills. Do you find that a little weird? Why did he do that? Oh, Shaman of the Pack?
I mean,
That's
Huey might have a way to
for
bounce
2?
his own dude.
Yeah, that's true. So he does it for 2. And that's the game. Mike Sigris takes game 2 against William Huey Jensen.
We're going to go to a game 3, and this is the important match.
And this is it. So this is, it all comes down to this for day 1 for our teams. It's game 3. It's the 3rd match. Paulo lost to Reed Duke, but Jesse Hampton was able to beat Owen Turtenwald, who you can see back there looking a little surprised. And that leads us to our match between Huey Jensen and Mike Sigris. Mike's currently ranked number 1 in the world, top 25 pro rankings.
Yeah.
And now they're going to game 3.
Well,
this is kind of the dream ending, I got to be honest.
Also, you have to remember, these guys all usually have like 3 buys when they're coming to tournaments. They've been playing more Magic today than they are used to. I'm sure it is wearing down on them.
Yes. Also, we're in Detroit,
Yep.
which is in the Eastern time zone. And, you know, looking at like Huey and Owen, they live in Las Vegas. You know, it catches up to you a little. You get a little jet lag. You know, you get used to it, but it'll get you a little bit. Now, Reed lives in Sugarloaf, New York, so he's used to it. And on the other side, Paulo, he of no time zone. He travels so much recently that he's probably just on whenever the sun comes up or his alarm goes off. Jesse actually just doesn't sleep.
He never does.
No, just against his... Well, he looks like maybe he's a little sleepy this time. But, yeah, he won't sleep.
He's actually just winding up his back. He's got them in those, turn clock things.
It looks like actually maybe he could use a bit of a nap as he gives us a big yawn there. It proves the point, though. He doesn't sleep. And Siggy is from Massachusetts.
He is?
I think so. Okay. I think he's from Massachusetts. I think so.
I wonder what they sideboarded.
You know, I saw that Jesse Hampton back there was maybe giving a little advice on it. Paulo was like, not super concerned.
I think Sigrid has the more powerful deck as far as cards are concerned, but it matches up maybe poorly against Huey's, who just has a lot of tempo and bounce. Wants to go under him.
Who's more intimidating, Sigrist or William Huey Jensen?
If I'm playing them in Magic?
Yeah, like you sit down across from them at the table, you know, and I don't mean like you're scared of him physically or whatever. I just mean like, you know, you sit down and you're like, oh, crap, this guy's good. And he might beat me. And what if I make a mistake?
I got to say Huey, but for sure.
Not remotely
Yeah,
close.
it is.
Look at that guy.
He just stares you down.
He looks into your soul.
He doesn't show emotion when he kills you or when you kill him.
Yeah.
It just, he's a machine.
He is a machine.
Plus, I've known Siggy for a long time. We played a lot of Magic Online together, so.
What's his name on Magic Online?
Oh, he has multiples. He has accounts that are over 2K.
2K?
Yeah.
Jeez, I've never done that. Have you broken 2K?
No, I'm 1994. It's my highest.
That was your highest?
I think he's just M. Sigrist online now these days, but he is, well, we were talking about earlier. He just won the Magic Online Championship.
Yeah.
I mean,
the guy's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, it is interesting looking at the teams here, too, is, Owen Turtenwald said that Siggy's the best in the world on Twitter.
We're number one, Marshall.
Yeah.
He's number one.
He said that before.
I know that, but I'm just
like
saying.
called shot from Turtenwald, and it's hard to argue right now.
All right, let's have a good game.
Yeah, let's get a good game here, gents. This is going to be awesome.
A good game where Sigrist completely annihilates Jensen.
Right. I knew what you meant by good game.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page.
I don't care who wins. I just want to see some awesome stuff like that first game, that second game, hopefully this game.
Sigrist was just patting on Paulo's back. He's like, it's okay, man. I got this. Here we go.
We got keeps? Yeah, we got keeps. No one drop. Oh, no.
No Caterpillar? Aye. How can he ever win?
He had the aggro Caterpillar draw last time. All right.
We saw how that Caterpillar draw turned out. I see lands and spells in both hands.
I like that.
That's generally a good thing.
This counts as a spell. Evolutionary Leap is going to kick things off here for Huey. Now, not the ideal 2-drop, right? That's a card that you can play later in the game and still have it have effect. But at least he's doing something with his mana. And here's Jesse and Thief. So question number 1, how many Reeve Souls you got there?
At least one now. He just ripped it.
He just drew it, didn't he? Did he just draw that?
He did, yeah.
What a sicko. This is what it takes.
Marshall, he has 3 in the deck for a reason.
Oh, but man, that would have been nasty if it stuck.
Well, especially since...
Oh.
Okay.
The green Jesse and Thief.
Sure, but that's not... okay, no, it is as scary, I guess.
This is a major issue if Sigrist doesn't have a way to interact right now.
No,
he's got to hitch Cloud.
And we know Huey has so much tempo, bounces, and claustrophobias. I think...
He's going to play the Shaman of the Pack because A, it can trade.
Yeah.
Or eat, excuse me. And B, he gets a trigger out of it, so if it gets bounced, it's like, let's get something out of the deal. Bone to Ash off the top, for Huey.
Who does have that claustrophobia.
He does?
He does.
Uh-oh.
Would you like to draw a card and make your 1/3 a 3/5?
I'm interested.
Is that good?
I'm not interested. Oh, crunch.
So let me tap that for you and then tap this for me.
Yeah, and you know why he does that? It's actually a trigger. You have to remember it. If you're playing at a high level, Grand Prix, Pro Tour type Magic, it is a triggered ability on claustrophobia that it taps the creature, and you have to say it. You have to do it. So that's why you see him reach over and tap his opponent's card down.
It's very smooth, though, motion. He's
probably done it a lot of times today. Anyway, Valerian Wardens does hit. Not only hits for 1, but now it's a 3/5, and it drew him a card. So this could get ugly.
Yeah. Well, the Warden now doesn't draw any more cards from itself hitting.
That's right.
But any other renown trigger for Huey's going to draw him cards.
You know what it does draw a lot of? Blood. It's a 3/5.
5 toughness is very large. But
yeah.
Yeah.
You
spiders.
Know what? Hitchclower, please.
Yeah, spiders. Who's going to be the spider, Marshall?
Huey is staring at Sigiled Starfish, Bone to Ash, Forest, Island.
Oh.
So that's not going to get it done, at least not right now.
He does have a good turn, though. Starfish and holding up Bone to Ash is definitely nothing.
I like it.
Or not nothing.
Not nothing, yeah. And then on upkeep, he can start using his Starfish and kind of work his way through here. This is nice. This is a good turn now. I'm curious to see how Sigrist approaches this next turn, knowing that Huey could have some type of a counter spell or what.
Yeah, he's seen Bone Dash, both games now?
And we know he saw it in 2.
Yeah.
I don't know if he saw it in 1. But he's certainly going to be aware of it. The problem is he doesn't have that much time. Like, if the board stays the way it is, sure, he's not under any great assault, but Huey's going to start pulling away pretty cleanly here.
Well, just from the scry, I guess.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, Sigrist has so many powerful cards in his deck. The nice thing is that Evolutionary Leap is going to negate, effectively, any of all of the removal spells we've seen.
You know, it's interesting. Do you think that Huey brought that in out of the board, or do you think it was main? We don't have his deck list here.
No, we don't have his.
We don't have Huey's?
Oh, I lied. We're actually going to have it. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, let's find that.
I am curious. My gut has told me that Leap is better out of the board than it is in the main, but I think it's close. Like, I've main decked it and been okay with it too.
Yep, you're absolutely right. It came out from the board.
Okay, so he saw the spot removal.
Yep.
And he's like, well, we're just going to put a dent in that. I like it. I think that's a great sideboard plan from Huey.
I initially hated that card when it first when I first started drafting the format, but I've grown on it definitely.
I also was down on it early and have come around on it a lot more. I think it's pretty cool. It's also just a neat card, right? Spin the wheel. Now, one thing I've done, I don't think it'll happen to Huey here because it's so early in the game. I ran out of creatures. I activated it and then failed to find.
You did get to shuffle your library. I'm sure
Yeah,
that felt
I
okay.
shuffled it real good. I did, though, at the time have one creature on the battlefield. It was Alhamrat, and got the job done.
Okay.
But so this is that upkeep scry we alluded to a minute ago here from the Sigiled Starfish. And Huey, if you watch him play enough, he puts the card sideways like that when he's still thinking. And he's decided to keep it. What was it?
Ooh.
He's got Bone Ash Island and then the card that he drew. So once we get a chance to see it, we'll know exactly which one he left on top.
I would assume it's something that he can cast and still hold up the Bone
What
Dash.
is that, Dwynen?
He does have a Dwynen in the deck.
I think it was Dwynen.
Okay.
But you know what he can't do? Cast Dwynen and leave up Bone Dash. So I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think he's just going to be patient. And it makes sense, right? The Dwynen doesn't get in for damage here really anyway. It helps enable damage, but it's not going to make an immediate board impact. He's still got this Scryfish. He's still got a counter spell, and he can just sort of sit back. Oh, Foundry of the Consoles. Is Siggy even going to cast anything?
That's a problem.
That's a clock, right? 4 now?
Yeah. And yeah, he's just going to pass the turn. He knows.
Siggy is so good at this game. And Jensen is left in an awkward spot. Now, the good news for him, he's just going to draw his card for the turn. He draws another Bone Dash.
He didn't mind drawing a land there. He probably didn't mind drawing a spell, but a second Bone Dash is definitely awkward.
And he's going to have to just stay patient here. He's going to dare Siggy to sack the Foundry. He's going to do it. Remember, Dwynen has reach.
Yeah.
Dwynen will shore up this board state quite cleanly, but he knows that if he taps out for Dwynen and Siggy goes bomb, that he is helpless.
Yep.
He has no way to defend against that. So he's just going to wait. The interesting thing for me here, Kenji,
what's that?
Let's say he uses Starfish on end step.
Okay.
And he sees a land.
Sure.
Does he just snap keep it?
I keep it.
Because you want to get this thing out of your hand, right?
While still holding up the Bone Dash.
Isn't that funny? He's on 7 lands, and he's just like, need one more.
I mean, it seems so bad, but sometimes it's the necessary thing to do, you know?
Yes.
So 4 in the air.
And Siggy refusing to give in. Now, if this is a really good spell, like let's say it's a really good 3-drop, would he keep that? It was an island. He kept it.
You got to pretend to take.
This is so fun.
Yeah.
This is so fun. Well, I mean, yeah, he had to talk to Owen a little bit. Like, pizza later? Yeah? Okay. Here's Dwynen. So Dwynen is 3/4 with reach, which is really what matters here. And so she is going to hold back not only the Orchard Spirit, but both of the Thopters as well. And Huey's stable at 13 life here.
Sure.
Now, this is, of course, where Reeve Souls.
Yeah, it's insane.
Just absurd, right? Kills your 4-drop rare. Is he he just drew that, didn't he?
The reason? No, remember, he already had one in his hand.
Oh, that was the one he drew from before?
Oh, no, I'm
'Cause
sorry,
he's
you're right.
used
I'm
one.
sorry,
I think
you're
he
right.
drew that one. Good God.
I could have swore he had one in hand still.
He might have.
At
any rate, he has a second one here.
Oh, so this is his window.
This is the window.
Because Huey's tapping a green to Evolutionary Leap.
Yeah, he figures he can't let the value go away. He doesn't want to leave the shields down, but they are.
For now.
So you have to randomize these.
And if there's only 2 cards, it's kind of...
It's awkward for him to do that. It's effectively irrelevant, but, you know.
Yeah.
Cool.
Siggy's going to be able to attack in with these 3 creatures again.
Yeah.
And he can even play something for, 5 or less mana if he
5 or
has
maybe 6 if he's got a land.
Here it is.
And
Wow.
the door was open for the Bellower, and Huey Jensen is maximally punished here. He tried so hard to leave up the 2 Bone to Ashes, and he gets wrecked by Bellower here. That is so nasty. Mike Sigrist, everybody.
He's number 1 for a reason, let me tell you.
Jeez.
This guy knows how to play.
Wow.
A
and
Caterpillar.
He gets Caustic Caterpillar to free up the Shaman of the pack. Or to take out the Evolutionary Leap even.
Oh, this is wonderful.
Depending on what he wants. Jeez, Starfish puts a card to the bottom, but I think Siggy's going to run away with this thing now.
You know what's not a good card right now?
Bone to Ash.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that's the downside to cards like this is that if you're already behind, they don't help fix that in any way. But Huey felt like he needed to use the evolutionary leap there, so he fired it off, and dang, he's getting hit hard here.
It's a nice thing.
Now all he wants is for Sigris to cast a creature of any type so he can get these things out of his hand. Now, all of this being said, Huey's taking 4 damage a turn right now.
Correct.
So he's going to die in 3 turns.
Mm-hmm.
What can he find to get himself out of this?
Oh,
You can look at his list if you want.
no, that's like cheating, you know.
No, in the booth we get to look at the list.
All right.
It's only cheating if you're playing against him.
Well, we know he has all the bounds, so if he draws his Void Mage, not Prodigy, sorry, Void Mage Separatist Void Mage.
Separatist Void
all right,
Mage.
I got there.
Yep.
You know, it can either bounce the Orchard Spirit, which is maybe not too useful, but he does have the double Bone Dash, or he can just permanently get rid of a token.
Okay.
That's definitely a thing.
To help reduce the clock here.
Yeah, and he has two of the Void Mage. I mean, he has the Harbinger we know about, the Disperse. He has another Claustrophobia. He has things to draw. The question is he going to find them in time? He does have the leap. If he wants to go digging for a Void Mage, he can do so.
So he can chump block the Bellower and leap, or he could double block the Bellower here. And he doesn't feel like he has a choice. If one of them gets messed with, he can leap the other one away.
Sure.
But still, that's not good for him.
Or he could just double leap if he really wanted to.
Yeah.
Ordering. City feels like
It's
there's
just a
3-5.
trade. It's just a trade for the guy. He passed priority.
Yep.
So, okay. You know, I think Huey's got to be happy with that result.
Sure, he's still got to worry about the Flyers.
Yeah, which are the much bigger problem,
Yeah.
of course. And I think he found a Separatist Void Mage here. Is that what you're seeing, Kenji? I know it's a tough angle.
Could be the Artificer's Epiphany.
Okay.
I think that might.
You know, I think with this much mana, maybe you want that at this point.
You can finally ditch a Bone Ash and try to get Siggy. If you discard one, he won't think you have the second
They'll
one.
never
Maybe.
play around it. It's just that the problem is, of course, Siggy has no one. He doesn't care. Counter my next threat all you want. Like, you're dying.
That's true.
You got 2 turns.
Man, that Dwayne dying.
All right, he just got rid of Somberwald Alpha, and he did it so that he could draw Harbinger of the Tides
And this is at
and
end of
play
turn.
it all end step. That was cool.
All right. This is the start he wants. Now remember, Siggy,
He's targeted the
Orchard
Orchard Spirit, by the way, yeah.
Siggy can still use the Caterpillar to get rid of the Claustrophobia.
So that could be an issue, but I will say that the Harbinger of the Tides is going to do a good job of, you know, blocking that Shaman of the Pack.
Sure.
Now. Okay. Upkeep. Starfish. Still on upkeep.
Takes a peek.
Keeps it. That's not good news for Sigrist.
Whirler
Whirler Rogue. That trades for Thopters. Oh my God! Is Huey really going to come back from this?
This is sick. And he still has the double Bone Dash, which Siggy knows.
He
Well, at
does
least one.
not know that. He knows one, right?
I mean, we're assuming that he knows about one.
But I'm saying he doesn't know. He has just played around that the whole time, right?
Sure.
Like, he is under that assumption.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying, but it is interesting that we're just at the point now where we're like, well, Sigrist obviously knows that he doesn't know. He just thinks it, you know? All right, so it looks like Sigrist has seen enough of Evolutionary Leap, and he's going to get rid of that with the Caustic Caterpillar.
Okay. And this might be still with the Whirler Rogue on the stack, potentially? Nope. All right, this is just end of turn.
Draw a creature is basically what that said, and he decided that any creature in his deck would be at least not too much worse than a random 2/2 on the board,
Sure.
and could be a lot better. So he spun the wheel and had just enough mana to do it and leave up Bone Dash.
All right, looks
Block,
like we're trading
block.
away. Yep.
Oh, this is now very good for Huey, because here comes. Now this is an interesting turn, right? So it's going to be Orchard Spirit, and Huey's going to have to counter it, but that's going to leave Sigrist with a decent amount of mana back.
Yep.
And he might have a bigger threat to follow up. He doesn't. He doesn't have it.
Well, the thing is, Huey wasn't going to counter the spider, right?
No.
So
No, I'm just saying that from Huey's perspective, he's like, right, don't cast a Maulers.
this is my breath.
Yeah, because now he gets to untap with the other Bone to Ash. And A, they never play around it. And B, oh man, Scob Goliath now. Oh, Huey.
Oh no. I thought Sigrist had this for sure, and now we're sitting at
Gotta
maybe.
Bone to Ash that.
Wow, Fedidip's actually huge
You
here.
gotta Bone to
all
Ash
right,
that.
all right, all right.
And he does.
Yes.
Oh wait, and a Mage Ring
Yes.
Responder as the follow-up.
Please.
Oh my God. This game has been unreal.
I mean, luckily for Huey, the Mage Ring Responder doesn't just eat the Scab Goliath, you know? Oh, they might be counting the lands here?
It's enough.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got 9. I double-checked too.
Claustrophobia not exactly the best versus a Mage Ring
No,
Responder,
it's
by the way.
bad against it. It taps it down, which does tie up 7 mana,
Yeah.
but only really the one time.
This is a very good game.
This has been an awesome game.
Oh, and he still has that Rock Smaller we knew about from the
Yes,
leap earlier. Yep.
he does, but it just looks so much worse now, right?
Sure.
Wild
Ooh.
Instincts is going to fight the Scob Goliath
That's
against
insane.
the guy. Mage Ring Responder dies in combat for the first time ever and lives.
Oh, by the way, take 8 trample.
Boom. 8. Now, what if he puts both creatures on it? Doesn't do it. It's
No.
got 11 toughness now.
That is not just a Goliath.
It is a 8/11.
Yeah.
Now, it has taken 7 damage, but
Some,
now, it
some
looks like
spiders aren't
Siggy
going to deal
might
with
be
it.
considering soaking up a little damage here.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a trade. Like, even if he blocks with both, the Goliath still lives.
And then the follow-up Rock Maulers. Man, the haymakers in this game are real. So I think Sigrist needs to start drawing his removal spell, like just Unholy Hunger into like Cruel Revival. And even then, Huey is still just scrying every turn.
I cannot believe that Huey has put himself in a position to win this game. Especially after all the dust settled.
Yeah.
He used his Bone to Ash on the Fetid Imp, and Siggy was like, sure. Boom! Mage Ring Responder on the table.
Turns out Scab Goliath with Wild Instincts does a decent job of dealing with that. Claustrophobia on the Automaton. Oh! Time Walk!
Anchor to the Aether. Attack!
Oh,
And that's it! William Huey Jensen wins the round
Holy
and puts
crap.
his team undefeated and leaves sullen faces on the other side for these 3 guys who are still replaying what could have happened. I thought Sigrist played that game beautifully.
Both of them apparently, right? It wasn't just Sigrist, it was Huey too, setting up the
Yeah.
whole. I mean,
I think we know Huey did
Well.
because he gets to sign the match slip
Sure,
with
sure.
a 2 next to his name.
he also made some
But
very
Sigrist,
good
look
draws.
at Sigrist's head. I mean, he doesn't know what hit him. I
Oh.
mean, wow.
There's nothing else to say. It just wow.
Wow. That's going to do it for the 9th and final round here from Detroit.